Good morning, Muttonistas. Primemutton's here again. This is going to be quite a rare vlog for me. It's going to be another breakfast vlog. I don't do them very often, and I often skip breakfast. Now, I have walked past here before and I've seen people queuing to get in. It must be good, and given that Fito's taken me here, he lives in this area, I can be assured of the quality. Let's go into the Mayoma Churreria and try out some churros and some porros. Okay folks, these are porros. We're having porros and churros this morning, and they are slightly different. So you'll see the difference in a few seconds when the churros come. And these are the churros, which you're probably all more familiar with. Sort of deep-fried dough sticks is a slightly simplistic way of looking at them, because there's a bit more to them than that. Okay, so there you are, there's the inside of them. Now, some people have them plain with a cup of coffee, some people have them with sugar, and some have them with chocolate. I'm going to get some chocolate because it's the way I like them, but they're quite nice on their own as well.
Coffee or the chocolate.
Okay. This place is absolutely tiny, but a lot of the best places in Madrid and other cities are often the smallest. So another close-up, and you can see inside there's actually a bit more dough in the filling of the churros. So the porros have bigger but with a hollow interior, and the churros are full of dough. But they're both nice in their own way. I won't have too many of those because they are very, very carby. The chocolate has arrived and it is thick, heavy and gloopy, but that's the way I like it, and I think the way it's supposed to be. Heavy it is, and it's not too sweet, it's very dark chocolate. People watching their sugar, it's not so bad. So, having eaten the churros and the porros, then we have to dispose of the chocolate. And for what it's worth, the chocolate that I was dipping the churros in, when it comes to drinking it, it is very hot, thick and gloopy, so take your time over it, folks. I've made the mistake of having rather a bit too big of a mouthful. So Muttonistas, that's the sort of breakfast I haven't had very often. Very interesting, very traditional, and this churreria is absolutely packed out usually, and you can't stand at the bar at the moment, but I could imagine back in the day, you know, you'd be cheek by jowl with punters enjoying their churros. Anyway, on to part 2 of this vlog, and tomorrow's breakfast. I'll see you tomorrow. So, okay, for the second of my breakfasts, I've come to the Barrio de las Letras, which is the literary area of Madrid. Of course, I'm not somebody who goes together with literature like peaches and cream, but with interesting dishes I do. And in the second stop, we're going to try a Spanish classic called broken eggs, which is eggs with potatoes and a special ingredient to make it a rather exotic mutton-esque breakfast. This restaurant is called Los Rotos, which is the name of the dish I'm going to try. It's a bit of a chain, they have a few restaurants. It looks quite good, and there was one dish on the menu that really caught my eye. So let's head in. So they do have an outdoor terrace here, but I couldn't get a table out there, but it doesn't bother me so much. I'm happy to eat indoors. I'm so looking forward to this dish. There is no way I was going to pass up the chance of having it. I'd eat in the kitchen if I had to. So here we have it, folks. A bit of an X-rated breakfast this, so maybe not best to watch in the morning, but here we go. So we have eggs, fried potatoes, duck, and the star ingredient, foie gras. Now, again, this is not a traditional breakfast. It's one that I've just decided to have, and I've had it a bit later than most people would have breakfast as well. But it is decadent, not maybe a breakfast fit for a king, but one fit for a miscreant like myself. So the trick here, the traditional way of making this is to, or preparing this, is to open up the yolks and mix it up with the potatoes. I can't really do that one-handed, so I'll go ahead and do that and show you the result. I've mixed it all up, mashed it all together as is traditional, and okay, it does look a bit like a dog's breakfast now, but that is the way you do it traditionally. So what was a beautiful plate of food is now mashed together, but you have the eggs with the yolks mixed in with the fried potatoes. You have the foie gras, which is duck foie gras. On top of those 3 eggs there was also some duck confit, shredded duck's legs. So I'm looking forward to this because it's going to be incredibly rich, I'm sure. As always, a little closer. That is delicious, but it's going to be heavy, so I wouldn't have anything else with this if I were you. Those egg yolks have combined beautifully with the potatoes, and the duck just adds one hell of a meaty flavour to it all. There's just a very, very, very slight hint of sweetness. I think they've put a tiny bit of sweet sherry like Pedro Jimenez on top, but with foie, that's always a good thing. And if you want to drink this, I'd go for cava probably, but if you want to take it later in the day, this dish you could have all sorts of things with it. Probably red, I think, a light red. So there we are, breakfast number 2, and that was a bit of a heavy affair. I wouldn't have anything else with it, I just had a coffee with it and a bit of water. But it is tasty, it is different, and it was reasonable value. The plate was €14, and after the coffee and water it came to 17. Okay, the foie I had for breakfast in Barcelona was better, but on the other hand, this was half the price and it was still pretty damn good. Anyway, onwards to the final stop for the third of our tale of 3 breakfasts. So, we're now at the third venue for the third of our breakfasts, and we are at the Mercado de la Paz. Now, there are a lot of markets in Madrid, and there's a very good gourmet one that you've seen in an earlier video called the Mercado San Miguel, but that's quite touristy, but it has a lot of Spanish products, obviously. But this market has a better balance between shops where people go to buy their groceries and eateries, and there is one legendary eatery. Not that we're going to limit ourselves to one, but I'm going to show you around before we have breakfast and you'll see. So, I'm at the Eau de Lis Bistro store, and we're going to get our juices going for the morning with a few oysters, which, as you might have noticed, have become a bit of a feature of my extravagant breakfast. And where oysters are present, so there is cava, or in this case, because this place sells French products, champagne. And so, if we pan down, we have 2 oysters with ponzu dressing. Ponzu is a Japanese and Korean style sauce which they often use with seafood. It's got a bit of soy, rice vinegar, and also the fruit yuzu, which is a Japanese citrus, which is a cross, I think, between a mandarin and lemon. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And of course 2 natural ones. So, as always, a bit of citrus works wonders with shellfish, and with oysters they're very important because the oysters are actually alive when they've been deshelled if they're fresh, and the citrus helps kill them, but it does add to the flavour. So always have lemon preferably, but lime would do just as well. They slip down so well in the morning. And as always, a well-shucked oyster should not have any problems with grit, and should just slip out of the shell because it should have been loosened by the people serving you. So you can just grab your oyster, slurp away, and enjoy all that salty, seafoody goodness of the citrus. And talking of slurps, I'm really match fit today, so this is going to be a great start to the day. And finally, to what is the jewel in the crown in this market, Casa Dani. Phenomenally popular, and their tortilla or Spanish omelette is absolutely exquisite. This place is so popular, I've had to share a table with the fire extinguisher. I've probably got the worst table in the joint, but I'm glad I got a table because I've been here before and trust me, this omelette is a treat. Sorry, old extinguisher, only one portion and that's for me. So obviously if you come here a bit earlier, I'm taking a late breakfast. It's easier to get a seat, especially if you go just after the morning rush hour. Anyway, on to the food. Now we can see here we have obviously eggs, potatoes, we have bits of onion as well, so that's like a classic Spanish omelette. And the trick is to keep the interior runny. I don't like the hard ones, and I didn't ask for anything special. You could ask for it poco hecho or muy poco hecho or melioso to get it really runny. And if you go for a tortilla de patatas, you get one that runs off the plate. But for standard omelettes, this is about as runny as you'd expect it to be. And if you get something a bit hard, it's not fresh, it's been sitting around. Maybe you like your eggs well done. I don't. Let's get on with eating it because I'm really looking forward to this. So look at how juicy and runny that is. That is beautiful. The potatoes lightly cooked, just a bit of onion to add a bit of extra flavour, and the eggs are runny. Eggs are not meant to be as hard as bullets. And of course, whilst the champagne with the oysters was a bit extravagant, one glass is enough for drinking in the morning, and I almost never drink in the morning. Just water and coffee with this, but who needs anything else? Perfectly seasoned as well, just the tiniest hint of salt. And when it comes to what you might call ordinary omelettes, those of you watching in the UK might be used to getting things that are as hard as frisbees when they order an ordinary omelette. It should not be like that. Obviously a French omelette is usually very good, well undercooked, but this is hard to get outside Spain, but well worth it if you can find it. Anyway, I'm going to stop eating one-handed, crack on with finishing my delicious omelette, and I'll see you when I've finished. Of course, a good breakfast is incomplete without a good coffee, and look at this little beauty of an espresso. Short, strong, thick, dark, rich crema, absolutely spot on. Let's give it a try. That is so flavoursome, right on the money. Even if you just want a coffee, this place is a pretty good place to come to. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you again until the next time. I do hope you enjoyed this vlog about 3 different breakfasts in Madrid. The churros and the porros, which are very, very traditional. And then we had my sort of made-up one with the foie and huevos rotos, although it's on the menu. And then the oysters, and finally the superbly prepared, runny, delicious tortilla, classic Spanish tortilla with potatoes and onions, and boy was that good. So I hope you get the chance to try these breakfasts if you're in Madrid, but if not, I hope you enjoyed watching. See you on the next one, and don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.